Okay, we are now joined by head coach Tom Sermanni. Tom, if you could please get us started with your thoughts on today's game.
I think today's game is probably a snapshot of our season, to be perfectly honest. We did with more than enough possession to win the game. We had certainly more than enough chances to win the game. We probably hit the woodwork, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times. We dominated large parts of the game, but we just don't put the game away. With them, we seem to be, again, just defensively frail to give up easy opportunities that shouldn't really happen. And that's been a snapshot of our season up to now. Could have got ourselves out of jail, for want of a better word, obviously with having a penalty in the last minute. But again, that's been our season so far. You know, some of those games, you know, the last game against Sky Blue, we scraped out in the last 4 or 5 minutes. The last game here against Washington, we did the same. A bit of individual brilliance by Marta, but we need to. And I wish I had an answer, but we need to be able to put games to bed when we dominate them so much. But we also need to stop giving up chances that are so easy for our opponents. And I'm at a loss to be able to know how to remedy both of those, to be honest.
Just quickly, if you can make sure our phones are on silent. I've heard a couple. We'll start with Jordan, and then over to Scott.
Coach, you've spoken pretty frequently about beating the teams that are below you in the table. With that in mind, how frustrating was just this draw?
Yeah, it's extremely frustrating. I mean, it's extremely frustrating for everybody. But again, we knew Sky Blue, what they would come and do is, I mean, they've come here with, you know, a point to prove. The players have dug in all season and made life really difficult for teams. They should have won games earlier in this season, and we knew how difficult it was going to be. So it's been really frustrating. It's been our season, to be frank. Tonight is a snapshot of our season. It's a bit like Forrest Gump, a box of chocolates. You never quite know what you're going to get once you open it up. And I think tonight is just another snapshot of virtually every game we've played this season. Honestly, I think without fail, maybe a couple of games where we were soundly beaten here by North Carolina, and we beat Chicago soundly 5-2 in a game. Apart from those 2 games, every game we've had this season has been similar to tonight's game. And it's just, as I say, I would love to be able to say it's this, or it's this, or it's this. It's either individual lapses where we suddenly get caught out. It's either ball watching when we've got the ball and then suddenly we get caught out in counter-attacks, or we're dominating games and we're just not ruthless enough to put chances away. And we're still in the hunt. We're still, we win next week against Portland. We're in a really good position. But I don't think we should be in this position. We should be, 4, 5, 6 points better off than we are.
Really quickly, one last time, please make sure your phones are on silent.
Yeah, make sure. Come on.
Go to Scott.
Yeah, are you sure?
Not me.
You're usually the guilty party.
Coach, I want to start with that center back today. I think the first time this season. Just how do you think she did? Can we see her more? Will we see her more there the rest of the season?
I think generally she did pretty well. She was fairly tired after playing 3 full games for Australia. So all of that considered, I thought she had a pretty solid game in there. And again, if I look through all the players individually, I think everybody played reasonably solid. So it's just kind of we just seem to have lapses that are costing us goals. So whether that's individual players or collectively defensively, not necessarily the back 4, but just as a team defensively, that's what's letting us down. But I thought, Alana's comfortable playing in that position. She can dominate in the air. She's good on the ground. She's a good organiser, and she's comfortable there. So I'm quite happy with her playing back there.
Go to Victor, then to Jordan.
Coach, what were your thoughts on Danny's performance tonight? She was kind of a part of both those goals tonight.
Well, I've said this before, I'd love 10 Danny Weatherhawks out on the field, and that's what she's been this season. She's a person that's really dragged our team along in games quite often, whether that's been a decisive tackle, a decisive run, a decisive goal like it was tonight, or whatever. She's just been magnificent this year. And as I say, I need 10 players doing that. And if we had 10 players doing that, then I think we would be a little bit further up the table.
Jordan?
And Coach, on Sky Blue's first goal, Alana had slipped, which kept a player onside, and then you had the opportunity to win the match with Marta, and I don't think you're going to see Marta missing a penalty kick pretty often. How do you plan for those just runs of essentially bad luck?
You don't, and that's the frustrating thing. There are things that are out of everybody's control. But if I go back to the goal, we shouldn't have been in the position that we were in. We had enough defenders around the ball, we had enough players back there. We should have been organised better. So it wasn't like we were suddenly, all over the place. So the fact that Alana fell, for me, is a little bit immaterial, because that was, that played to go to one side, but that wasn't how the goal came about. The goal came about by purely bad defending. Player misses a penalty, what can I say? I mean, we've got Alex and Marta, who you put your house on, scoring penalties on both occasions. They haven't, a couple of times they haven't scored this year. That happened, you can't do anything about that. That's football.
We're going to go to Nigel and then to Chris to wrap it up.
Tom, can you comment on the tempo of the game? For the first 30 minutes it seemed a little slow, and then there was a noticeable shift up about the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, well, I think because what we talked about when we came out was actually playing much more direct tonight. We wanted to play more direct because we knew Sky Blue would sit back. They keep the back four in place pretty much most of the game. They sit back deep, and they're quite happy with us playing in front. So I think the reason for the slow tempo was we didn't actually play long. So despite our best instructions, our team still decided to play lots of passing football. Problem with that is when teams sit in and are really disciplined, they go in a 4-4-2 like they did, it becomes hard to play at a high tempo because they've got lots of bodies behind the ball, and they get into good positions and they keep things tight, and it takes a little bit of time for the game then to start getting stretched and their players start to get a little bit tired. So it wasn't until that happened, and it wasn't until we started actually playing a little bit more direct, that we then started stretching them, and then space opens up, then the tempo increases.
And with Chris here.
Good spot. Good spot.
Hey, Coach. We noticed some frustration from Marta late in the game before the penalty kick about not getting the ball when she was wide open. Is that a communication thing, an organization thing? What do you think?
No, it's just players not seeing it. It's as simple as that. Obviously Marta wants the ball and wants it quickly, and it's about players getting on the same page and looking up. And we talked about that at half time. We said as soon as we get the ball in midfield and can turn with it, there should be a pass on. That pass should either be early in the second half, in behind to Rachel Hill, or to Marta's feet. And then it's just about players actually doing that, getting there, looking and seeing where Marta is, and having a thought process before they actually get the ball, to seeing where she might be. I mean, if I'm a player on the team and I'm playing with somebody like Marta, all I'm doing is actually getting the ball and passing it to her. And that's some of the stuff that we need to do a little bit quicker. And going back to Nigel's question, some of the things that keeps the tempo low in the first half, because we don't do those things early enough or quickly enough.
Thank you, Tom.
You good? Thank you.
We are going to bring in Chi and Danny.
We need to get some alcohol in this room. Thank you.
She was all over it.
Oh, okay.
would be a little bit slower tonight than when you were on the airport.
Alright.
But you should have a coach, so.
Alright, thanks.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's just. See?
Yeah.
You know, that goes.
Hey Ray, it's Nick. Were you calling me about the Thomas thing? Oh yeah, they did it. So it's good now, right? They dropped it on 2 seconds. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's on there. It's not on there. It's cool. No worries. No worries.
I see your socks now. I see your socks now.
My bow tie? Oh my gosh. I just noticed that.
I own 40
Shocking.
straight ties. At some point, I'm going to wear one.
Shocking.
It's not allowed.
Out of uniform. Just
Bow tie.
that's like your trademark, man.
He was supporting her. We're now joined by forward Chilma Bogigu. Chi, if you could get us started with your thoughts on today's game.
As a team, we knew what we needed to do today, so it's a little unfortunate that instead of 3 points, we're getting 1, especially the effort we put out. It's just got to be better. I don't know how else to say it. We got to start executing in the final third. We got to be better defensively, and I'm proud of us for fighting and getting back in the game. But obviously, all of us wanted 3 points tonight, so we're a little disappointed.
Go to Jordan.
I asked Tom this as well. He talks very frequently about beating the teams below you in the table. With that in mind, how frustrating was this match? Not just disappointing, but to only come away with a point.
Yeah, it's frustrating because I think we came out really, really well. I thought first 15, 20 minutes, I don't think they passed midfield and we were effective in keeping possession, but we need to start getting shots on target. We need to start threatening more in behind. We need to test the keeper early, and I think we're missing that part. And throughout the 90 minutes, so regardless if it's a team in the lower half of the table or top of the table, when you don't get 3 points, it's frustrating.
Go to Major and then to Scott.
Coach was saying that he doesn't really have the answers right now in terms of, putting these games to bed when they need to be. This late in the season, what do you try to do to, take it to the next level, I guess, in terms of putting games away and beating the teams that you have to beat?
Yeah, I don't think there's like a one answer, one solution, because football would be really easy if it was that. I think we just gotta stay mentally focused throughout the 90 minutes. I think throughout the season, way too much after we score, we're giving up a goal. I don't know if it's a mental lapse. I don't know if we're taking a break and we think we got the game. I don't know what it is, but it needs to stop. It's happening far too often. It's putting us in terrible positions.
Or Scott.
You just mentioned it. You guys have 21 shots, only 8 on target. What's breaking down in the final third why you guys can't get the shots on target?
It's a tough question. I think we need to start just keep building our chemistry, whoever's up top, and building relationships and knowing what each other likes to do on and off the ball. And we just got to keep going. Like we all really want to make the playoffs, and as frustrating as this result is, we still got a point out of it. So we still need to be positive. We still need to keep going and just get back to training field and keep putting in the effort.
Go to Danny, then to Jordan.
In the last 25 minutes of the game, you ladies pressured up and down the field. You had 10 corner kicks in the second half. What can you ladies do to sustain that for 90 minutes instead of the final 25?
It's a great question. I don't know. I think we've yet to put together a game that's a full 90-minute game. I think we came out really hard with energy, and then, like you said, we continued that pressure towards the end of the game. So I don't know if we have to keep talking and communicating more on the field, or if we just need to mentally lock in for 90 minutes individually, and then collectively we do it. But I really don't have the answer. I wish I knew, but it's frustrating because I do feel like all my teammates are working extremely hard, and we all want to win, and we're all bought into the process, and we all want to make playoffs. So it's frustrating, and that's up and down to football, and I think we're all in this together. And the next game we're gonna keep going and looking for 3 points.
Jordan. And then lastly, Victor.
4 goals combined scored in the second half between the two teams, offensively and defensively. What was the biggest difference? It was almost like watching 2 different games over 2 different halves.
Yeah, I think sometimes in football that just happens. I think the first 45 minutes both teams are battling, and the energy's high, and everyone's, the legs are fresh. And then the next 45 minutes things tend to open up. So I think that's just what you saw today. I think we did a good job of putting a lot of pressure on them. I honestly think we could have got more than 2 goals. I think we hit the post a few times, and she came up with a few good saves. So just thinking about that's making me even more mad. But yeah, we just gotta keep going. Honestly, yeah.
Last one. No.
Yeah.
Anyone else? One more. Scott, last one.
In the first half, you were taking on, looked like you were taking on the whole team. Was that just really good matchup, or what was going on there?
What's going on? I just, I think one of the reasons why I enjoy football so much is the creativity aspect, and that's one of the things I really try to help the team. I want to create, I want to help score, assist goals, and my teammates are doing a good job getting the ball in good positions, and I had space to try to find people, and Rachel and Marta were creating space, getting the box. So I think as a team we were just using our system really well, and I think in the second half the space was open up for Kristen for her to do the same thing. So I think more and more we play this formation, I think we're knowing our tendencies and what's open and where to play the ball, and that's just, I think, what's going on, I think, to answer your question.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, you.
Danny should be for Jordan.
Keep it stuck in my head for the rest of the
Yeah.
Would you like to
Speaking of rappers, maybe you're asking me later, right? No, Danny asked me. Danny, you asked me about rappers earlier. You know the game?
Yes.
You got in a fight with his teammate at the Drew League.
No.
Nothing, dude. It's the Drew. You probably got dunked on.
With his teammate, with his teammate. It's crazy.
You could.
Danny's on her way, guys.
You could have had
Right here.
a moment.
Here she goes.
Someone said 50 seconds.
Alright, we're now joined by midfielder Danny Weatherholt. Danny, quite a game for you today. Can you just kind of talk about your overall thoughts on the game?
Ultimately, I think we played well, but we have to be more efficient and better in the final third. I think we had a lot of chances, but we didn't put them away.
Okay, go to Jordan.
Danny, coach said during his press conference that he wishes he could have 10 of you out on the field. That type of praise, what does that do for you as a player and for your confidence?
I think it just encourages me to keep working harder every day. I get that hard work from looking at my teammates. They're who inspire me, so I just want to keep bringing that to every game.
Okay, go Danny.
Danny, can you talk about the goal and what you saw out there? It's kind of one of those weird goals.
Yeah.
So can you talk about what you saw out there?
Yeah, I saw Camila attacking, so I kind of tried to clear the space. Then it opened up for a slip through ball, and kind of got in a tangle with the goalie, and it happened to pop right to me. So I'm grateful that I followed through and followed up on it.
Go to Jordan on the Victor.
Both coach and Chiefs expressed some frustration with the way this match played out. Was this match a frustrating one, just from the perspective of your perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. I think anytime you dominate a game in possession, and we had the ball a lot in their attacking third, we were creating, and we just didn't finish, and that's on all of us as a whole unit.
Victor.
Danny, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like you were a little more attacking minded in tonight's game. You had the second most shots, only second to Marta's 6. Just talk about what your mindset was like going into this game.
Yeah, I think defensively I'm able to put pressure on their midfield and kind of start some attacks in the transition. So I think me as a player, I'm personally trying to look to get in the box more and look to press more, and yeah, that's what we saw this game.
Thomas talked all season about just how hard of a worker you are and how you never give up, and it almost felt like that goal that you scored was kind of symbolic of that mentality. Do you feel like that kind of describes who you are as a person?
Absolutely. I think that I'm just going to always give 110% and not give up on things. I think I could have easily just stopped my run, but I ran through it and it happened to pop up to me, so yes, thank you.
Danny.
I asked you the same question earlier. You guys, the ladies had last 25 minutes, you had 10 corner kicks. What